Welcome back to Fiction Flux. Today, we're diving into a brand new fanfiction that takes us on an exciting twist in the My Hero Academia universe. What if Deku was born with a different quirk, telekinesis? How would her journey as a hero unfold with this powerful ability, instead of the usual one for all? No time to waste, let's jump straight into this unique reimagining of Deku's story. Get ready for an adventure full of surprises and epic battles. Izuku Midoriya. Her dad had left her when she was young and her mom had died in a villain attack when she was 10. She was supposedly quirkless, as far as everyone knew. After her mom died, she was forced to live with her aunt Mitsuki, which meant living with her childhood friend Kachan. She didn't mind this all that much, but Bakugo didn't like it, but as the years passed he slowly started becoming her friend again. Izumi always was around him. They were an inseparable duo. They were best friends by time they reached age 13. Midoriya was rather short, being at only 5 feet 0, while Bakugo was a good 5 feet 8. They became known as the Trouble Duo. It was another average day. Izumi woke up to Bakugo yelling at his mom again. She tried to go back to sleep but failed. So she decided to get up and go in the kitchen. I walk in rubbing my eyes. "Oh, good morning, Izumi," said Mitsuki. "Morning, auntie," she replied while yawning. She looked over at Bakugo, who seemed to be pissed off about something. "Hey auntie, what's up with Kachan?" she asked. "The brat refuses to eat breakfast because we ran out of hot sauce." Mitsuki rolled her eyes. Izumi looks over to Bakugo. "Kachan, why you being such a Debbie Downer?" Bakugo looked over at her and tsked. "What about the old hag just goes and gets more hot sauce?" he half shouted. Izumi walked over and whacked Bakugo on the head. "Stop being rude," she said as she death stared him. Usually if someone else did this he would explode, but he knew not to mess with Izumi, especially when she just woke up. "Whatever," he scoffed. Izumi went and sat on the couch, and then she realized she forgot to grab the remote. "Kachan," she whined. "What the fuck do you want?" he replied, annoyed. 1. Stop cussing, and 2. Can you the remote tilde? She whined again. "Get it yourself, stop being lazy," he said, annoyed. "You," she groaned. She reached her hand out and tried to be like the characters in Star Wars who use the Force, and suddenly the remote flied to her hand. She was shocked. Auntie, Kachan, I think I might be hallucinating." Both Bakugo and Mitsuki turned to her confused. "Why? What happened?" Bakugo asked, really confused. "I was jokingly pretending to use my mind to get the remote and it came flying to me," she said, a little shaky. "Why don't you try it again and we could tell you if you were hallucinating or not," Mitsuki replied. So Izumi looked around the room and found another object to try it on, and again it flew to her. Both Bakugo and Mitsuki stood in shock. "So was I hallucinating?" Izumi asked nervously. "Nope," Bakugo replied in shock. "We should probably go to the doctor," said Mitsuki. Izumi, Bakugo and Mitsuki all went to the doctors and they ran some tests. Izumi was feeling nervous waiting for the results. The doctor came in with the results. "So after we ran some tests we figured out that you have a late quirk. According to the tests you have a mix of telekinesis and mind reading. Your quirk is emitter, so you have to turn it on to read people's mind or draw something to you." Izumi just sat in shock. She had a quirk. She started to get really excited. "OMG. My baby Izu has a quirk," Mitsuki said. "You might have a quirk, but that doesn't mean you're better than me," Bakugo half mumbled. Izumi was stuck in her thoughts and started mumbling till Bakugo brought her back to earth. "We'll see about that, Kachan," she said teasingly with a smirk on her face. That was the best day of her life. Izumi's paw of heart. "It's been over a year since I learned about my quirk. I've been growing stronger and I trained with Kachan every day. Things were going great. The entrance exams were right around the corner. I still idolized heroes and I'm pretty sure Kachan is getting tired of me always talking about them. I studied heroes all the time and had analysis on each one. Even Kachan. Kachan thought it was nerdy, but analyzing other heroes helped me incorporate their fighting styles in with mine. Soon I would be a hero. Well, if I pass the exam and get in." Bakugo's paw. Living with Izumi had been nice over the years. When she lost her mom at age 10 I felt bad deep down, but I never said anything to her. My pride always got in the way of our friendship. I figured since we were gonna be living together, we might as well get along. She moved in 4 years ago. Now we are 14 years old, almost 15. We were both on our way to become heroes. The entrance exams are approaching so fast, and to think how much has happened in the year. Izumi actually having a quirk that was late for some reason. She now could use her quirk to great lengths. Though most of the time she used it when she was lazy, which was always. Growing up with her didn't change our rivalry. I was still aiming for the top and so was she. We thought about being a duo, but we both were too competitive for our own goods. She helped me with things and I helped her through things. At school we were called the trouble duo. I never understood it. I mean, yeah, we have got suspended a couple times and might have played a prank on the principal, but we weren't that bad. Though it was fun to prank the principal. His reaction was priceless. Third POV. Life had changed so much for both of them. Today was the day. Ooh, entrance exams. Izumi's POV. Today is the day, I thought to myself. I am so excited and nervous. This is my next step to becoming a hero. I jump out of bed and get ready. I picked out some shorts and a crop top with some fingerless gloves. I didn't want to wear anything too complicated. I rushed out to the kitchen and sat down to eat. Kachan was already awake. About time you woke up, Kachan scoffed. Yeah, I reply with sarcasm. It's a big day, you two. I'm so proud of you guys. Izumi, can you make sure the brat isn't rude? I chuckled at that. Shut up, you old hag. He screamed. Kachan, it's too early to hear you yelling, I complained. Whatever, he replied, annoyed. We eat our breakfast then head out. We finally approached the building where the exam takes place. Now I was feeling a lot more nervous. I was twirling my thumbs without realizing it. Hey Deku, can you stop being nervous? You're better than all these lame extras. He kinda yelled. Oh sorry Kachan, I reply shaky. He only replied with a tisk. We got into the building that we were to take the written exam. The pro hero present mic was instructing us and I was fangirling, but I was trying to keep it inside. The exams were passed out and we all heard the word, start, and started to fill in the answers. The questions are super easy for me and Kachan. We both finished at the same time and turned it in. We were the first people, so we decided to go out in the hall and stretch. After everyone had turned in their exams, present Mike started to explain what was going to happen. So for this exam you are going to be fighting against 3 robots. Each have a different point amount. The 1-pointer, the 2-pointer, and the 3-pointer. Present Mike was about to go on when suddenly an boy with blue hair and glasses shot up. Excuse me, but in the pamphlet it says there is 4 robots. Is this a mistake? He yelled. Well, there is another robot. It's a 0-pointer and it's not important. You should probably stay away from it. Now let's head outside and get ready. Everyone started walking out. Me and Kachan were put in different divisions. So he wasn't here to help me, but that's okay. While walking towards the Division 1 tripped, I was expecting to fall, but then I realized I was floating. Then I heard a voice behind me say, release, and I touched the ground. I turn around to the girl. It would be bad luck to fall right before the exam. She smiled. I could feel my heart race. Shit, I thought. She's super cute. Oh thanks, I didn't know her name, but thankfully she told me. Ochako Uraraka. Thanks Uraraka, I'm Izuku Midoriya. I smiled at her. We both shook hands. I should get going now. It was nice meeting you, she said while running to her division. I realized we were in the same division and I tried to go up to her, but a blue-haired boy stopped me. You don't want to disturb her, do you? If you distract her she could fail and it would be your fault. Wow, this guy was blunt. I thought. Sorry, I didn't mean any harm. I walked away before he can say anything else. I start focusing when I hear a start being yelled and I booked it. Hey guys, I wasn't expecting this to get any attention at all, but I hope you enjoy this. I'm still not sure who she should end up liking. So leave me your suggestions. I will upload part 2 later today. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Author Chan out. Heart Izumi's POV. Start. I booked it. I waited until someone destroyed a robot so I could use the scraps to take down the other robots. Finally a boy with a laser-based quirk, I think, took down a robot. I used the scraps to stab into the robots and take them down. The robots have a weak spot and I used this to my advantage. I was taking down robots left and right. 62. I thought to myself as I took down a three-pointer. 65. Suddenly the ground starts to shake. What the heck? I look around and see everyone running in the other direction. I look around and notice the 0-point robot. The thing was massive, but I was cut out my thoughts when I heard a voice call out. "Help, my leg is stuck," the brown hair girl yelled out. I remember her from earlier. I rush out to her and lift the object off her leg. Then I looked up and noticed the robot about to crush us. I push her out of the way and close my eyes real tight. Then I realize the force field around me and I sigh in relief. I let the force field down after hearing an alarm go off signaling the end of the exam. She stands up and goes over to the girl. She isn't injured, just a hurt ankle. She started to feel lightheaded and then everything went black. She woke up in a white room. She looks around and notices a small old lady. "Oh, you're awake, dearie," the old lady says. "Where am I? What happened?" I ask. "Oh, you passed out after the exam, most likely from quirk overuse. You should probably go home," she stated. I get up and decide to head home. I also had a splitting headache, which I expected. I walk through the door to be trampled by Kachan. "What took you so long, shitty nerd?" he said with anger and relief. "Ah, Kachan cares about me. Where you worried, Tilda?" I tease him. "No, the fuck I wasn't, shitty nerd." He then proceeded to tickle me. "Okay, stop, I can't breathe." I managed to get out. "Fine." He then got up. I go to my room and shower and put on some sweats and almost instantly passed out. I was tired and nervous, so my results. Few days later the acceptance letters came in. "Guys, your acceptance letters are here," yelled Auntie. We both rushed and grabbed them. First we watched Kachan and saw that he got in. We all celebrated and then I opened mine. The first thing I saw was All Might and then he explained how I got into UA. We all went out to celebrate and then we went to bed. A very interesting day was ahead of us. Azumi's POV. Before I knew it, it was the first day of school. I turned off my alarm clock and sat up. I was so tired, but I got out of bed and put on the school uniform. Dang it, why does it always have to be skirts? I honestly prefer the boy uniform, but I always get dressed coded, so I guess I have no choice. I put on my uniform. The skirt was really short. Why, I thought to myself. I decided to put on leggings underneath. I grab a hoodie just to wear on the way to school. I would take it off once I got there. I head downstairs and hear the usual back and forth yelling. I sit down and eat and then head out, dragging Kachan by the ear. He was shouting swears at me, but I didn't care. We finally arrive at the gates of UA. God, now I was getting super nervous. I actually made it. I'm at UA. I'm sure Mom would be proud of me if she was still here. At this point I took my hoodie off. Apparently I was mumbling and Kachan snapped me out of it. "Hey Deku, of course your mom would be proud. Now let's go before we end up being late." With that he pulled my hand and headed to class. I try not to think about my mom to avoid being upset. I was so thankful Kachan was in my class. He's the only one who knows my past and helps me avoid the topic. We walked around and finally found class 1A. I walked in and sat down at a desk. Kachan was getting yelled at by a blue hair boy with glasses. I remember him from the entrance exams. I got up and walked over to them. "What did you do this time?" I give him a death glare. "Nothing. This bastard told me to put my feet down." I sigh. At this point I was already annoyed with Kachan. "Listen, please stop with the cussing and get your feet down. Auntie taught you better and you're embarrassing me." With that he scoffed and I turned to the blue-haired boy. "Sorry about him, he really needs to use his manners. I promise he won't be a pain anymore." I glared at Kachan for a second and then looked back at the blue-haired boy. "I'm Izuku Midoriya, but you can call me Deku." I hold my hand out. "Tenya Lita, second child of the Lita family." He shook my hand. The name Lita felt familiar, but I couldn't put a name to a face. Lita's POV. The name Midoriya seemed so familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Maybe I had seen it on TV. Azumi's POV. I was about to walk away from the blue hair boy when I hear someone call out. "Oh, it's you, the girl who saved me." I turned to a brown hair girl. I remembered her from the exam. "Oh hi, crap, I don't her name. Ochako Uraraka," she said. "Well, hi Uraraka, my name is Izuku Midoriya." But please call me Deku. We shook hands and then we heard a voice call out. If you're here to talk you can leave. We were confused on where the voice was coming from, but then we saw something emerge from a yellow sleeping bag. I'm Aizawa, your homeroom teacher. Get on your gym uniforms and meet me outside. We all got up and headed to the locker rooms. I looked around the room and took in all the girls. None of them really stuck out to me, they all seemed like they would be straight anyways. I put on my uniform and headed out the gym. There waited Mr. Aizawa. He explained the quirk test and got started. During the thing I couldn't help but notice this one boy who caught my eye. He acted so cold, and I'm not talking about his quirk. He just seemed like he was lost and broken. I kind of felt the urge to read his mind, but I felt like it would be disrespectful. Plus I was focusing on the test, I didn't want to come in last. Finally the test was over and the person who came in last place was Mineta. I was glad, because he acted perverted and I got curious and read his mind and I regret it. He got expelled and then we all went back to the locker rooms to change. I kept thinking about the red white-haired boy. I was also kinda thinking about how a red-haired boy kept staring at Kachan. We all went back to the classroom and continued on with the day. People were catching on to the me and Kachan being close friends thing and they confronted me at lunch. So Midoriya, what's up with you and Bakugo? Asked the pink-haired girl. What do you mean? I was confused. You guys seem to be really close, she replied. I mean we do live together. I thought I mumbled but everyone still heard me. What? Shouted most of the class. Then they started asking about how he acts at home and blah blah blah. He acts the same. Also we are only friends. I replied to quiet them down. Why did you move in with him? Asked the girl named Momo. Personal reasons. I looked over at Kachan and gave him a hand sign which he understood what it meant. He walked up to the table. How about you guys stop questioning her? It's a topic you should probably avoid unless you want to upset her, he said and then walked away. Soon everyone looked back at me and started apologizing. I told them it was fine and then we all went back to class. Nothing else interesting happened and we headed back home. When I got home I was exhausted. I went straight to my room and fell asleep. That was a very interesting day. I kept having dreams about the dual-haired boy. Why I had them, I couldn't tell you. Hey, I'm back KK. Thanks for sticking by me. Also thanks for the reads. I wasn't expecting this. Azumi's Pav. A couple of weeks have passed by and everything's been going good. Something has been bothering me though. I can't stop thinking about the dual-colored hair boy. I learned that his name is Todoroki. He seems so cold, like everything is going wrong. I would know, I've been there before. Uraraka had been teasing me since she caught on to me staring at him 24/7. I'm surprised he hasn't noticed, to be honest. Anyways, back to today. I hear my alarm clock beeping. That oh so annoying sound I dread. I snooze my alarm and tell myself that 5 minutes wouldn't hurt. I soundly fall back asleep. Boom boom blah pav. I woke up early today and it's finally time for Izumi to be up, but I noticed that she hadn't left her room yet, so I went to check on her. I open her door and notice that she is still asleep. I go up to her and shake her up. Hey, wake up stupid, there's school today. Azumi's pav. My dream was interrupted by yelling. I don't want to get up, I say while tossing the covers over my head. Too bad, Kachan says as he pulls the blanket completely off me. Screw you, I say as I get up. He just left my room smirking. Whatever. I get up and brush my teeth and I don't bother brushing my hair. I instead put it up and it looks really messy, but I don't care. I go downstairs and surprisingly there's no yelling. Strange. Time skip brought by Peppermint Boy. We finished breakfast and head to school. Aizawa did roll as usual and gave us a free period. Next period was English, which was boring. Finally it was time for hero stuff. All Might came booming through the door. I am coming through the door like a normal person. To be honest, I was freaking out. I've been a fan of his for so long. Everyone was practically jumping. Today we will do a combat training. You guys get your hero costumes out of your suitcases which are matched with the number on your desk and head to ground beta and I will explain there. Quote, practically jumping out of my seat I go and get my suitcase. I rush into the girls' locker room and change as fast as I can. I didn't want people To see my scar because then they would ask questions about my mom. What's the scar from? From the incident when I lost my mom. I got touched on my back and it hurt really bad. It felt like it was slowly disintegrating. We love foreshadowing. Anyways, right as I took off my shirt someone walked in. Great, just my luck, I thought to myself. I turn around to see Uraraka. She looked scared. I quickly put on my top and then she asked something I already knew was coming. What happened to your back? Well shoot. I was involved in a villain attack when I was younger, I say, trying to hold back my tears. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up. I sigh. It's fine, and with that I went to ground beta. Uraraka's paw. So she was caught up in a villain attack. I'll have to look that up when I get home. Azumi's paw of heart. Everyone was now at ground beta. All Might explained how things would go down. We all were put into partner pairs. I was paired with Uraraka. He then picked who would be fighting who. We were out as heroes against Lita and Kachan. Time skip brought to you by Boom Boom Boy. After some time it was finally our turn. All Might sent Kachan and Lita to hide the bomb. Me and Uraraka made a plan. And then we were ready. Go, All Might shouted. Me and Uraraka split up. I knew Kachan would try and fight, so I prepared for him to strike. As if right on cue I heard footsteps. I got ready to attack as he came flying around the corner. I've been expecting you, I said with a smirk. Well, get ready to have your fucking face blown off. He then came charging at me with a right hook. I dodged and threw him to the ground. I heard him choke, but he got up. You always start with a right hook, also stop cussing, I said as he charged at me. He then kicked my side really hard. I fell but quickly recovered and used my telekinesis to push him backwards. He then came charging at me and I rolled out of the way. He then kicked me again and I flew back into the wall. My back hit the wall real hard. Ah, I grunted as I stood up. He was about to say something but I used sign language to say, don't worry about it and don't say anything. I don't want people knowing. He mouthed sorry and we continued on with the fighting for a bit. I then ran away and got in touch with Uraraka. She knew where the bomb was and now all I had to do was find her. But I couldn't get there in time before Kachan caught up. Dang it, I instantly pushed him back using my quirk. And ran. I finally made it to the bomb. I then created hole in the wall to let Uraraka in so she could get the bomb. Kachan caught up and both him and Lita were occupied with me, so Uraraka secured the bomb and we were proclaimed winners. Everything went black after that. Peppermint Boy's paw. I knew sign language. There was something off about what she said. What didn't she want us knowing? Also, every hit she took, it didn't seem to affect her except for the one that hurt her back. Maybe something happened. I'll have to ask her later. Azumi's paw. I woke up in a white room, a very bland white room. I went to move my arm, then realized I had an IV in my arm. I then heard a sweet voice, "Oh, you're finally awake." I looked over to see the youthful hero recovery girl. "Oh yeah. Hee, I respond nervously. "Why am I here?" I questioned. "Oh, you pasted out during the training, speaking of which I have to run one more test then you can leave," she replied. Time skip brought by Pink Cheeks. After the recovery girl ran her test I left. Shortly after I left the room I was attacked by Kachan. "Don't ever do that again, stupid nerd." This shocked me. Aw, was Kachan worried? I teased. The only reply I got was a "TCH." I and Kachan were heading out when we ran into Todoroki. "Oh hey, Midoriya, I wanted to talk to you about something," Todoroki said. "Oh okay, sure, I'll talk to you later, Kachan." With that, Kachan left. "So what did you want to talk to me about?" I asked. "Oh, when we were training earlier you said something to Bakugo in sign language about not wanting to tell us something." I started to panic and I started hyperventilating. "Midoriya, are you okay?" I just nodded. Todoroki calmed me down and then I told him about the incident. I told him not to tell anyone and he agreed. I didn't want anyone to know yet and I didn't want people to look down on me. With that, I went to go hang out with Bakugo in this dorm. Azumi's paw. Beep beep beep. I sat up and turned my alarm off. I quickly got dressed and headed downstairs. God, I hate these skirts, I thought to myself as I walked into the kitchen. I quickly grabbed some toast and headed to the train station, leaving Kachan behind. I knew that he would yell at me at school, but whatever. I finally arrived at school. I sat at my desk and waiting for Aizawa to come in. Kachan walked in and started yelling at me, but I blocked him out. Finally, Mr. Aizawa came in and explained what would happen today. Alright class, today we will be going to the USJ with Pro Hero 13. I was jumping in my seat. I love the Hero 13. Kachan tapped on my desk. Guess he noticed me getting excited. I thought to myself, everyone go change into your hero costumes and then meet me outside at the bus, Aizawa said. Everyone got up and went to the changing rooms. I decided to go to the bathroom stalls to change. I didn't want another incident. After I'm done changing, I head out to the bus. Everyone was already there, so we head over to the USJ. Time skip brought by Sparkle Boy. Azumi's paw. We finally arrived at the USJ. Everyone got out of the bus and we all headed inside. We were greeted by 13. Welcome to the USJ kiddos, I'm the Pro Hero 13. She started speaking until a squeal cut her off. OMG, I know you. Uraraka shouted. 13 chuckled a bit before continuing. As I was saying, as heroes it's not all about combat, we also need to rescue people. We need to train our quirks to help others. Our quirks could easily be used to kill people. Oh, I knew that all too well. So today you guys are gonna be split up into groups and you're gonna practice rescue people. She continued talking until this odd purple dust started spreading and people started coming out of it. They looked like villains. Oh sick, they even have fake villains, Kirishima said. Those are real villains, stay back. 13 direct them to the bus, Aizawa shouted as we all started panicking. We went running but we all ended being separated by the black smoke. I ended up in the shipwreck zone with Asui and Mineta. Mineta wouldn't stop complaining and then I noticed the villains surrounding us. I had to think of a way to get out of this and fast. I finally came up with a plan. I used my telekinesis to make a whirlpool in the water as Asui grabbed both me and Mineta and jumped off the boat. Asui took us to the nearest body of land and we caught our breath. I looked over and saw Aizawa in trouble. So what did I do? I jumped in without thinking, obviously. Izumi's paw heart. I saw Mr. Aizawa in trouble and I rushed in. He was getting attacked by some dude with light blue hair. He had Mr. Aizawa pinned to the ground. I used my telekinesis to push the guy off him. I was starting to feel a little dizzy, but that wasn't going to stop me from fighting. What do you want from us? I yelled at the villain as he stood up. I want to destroy the symbol of peace, but since he isn't here, I'm gonna use you kids as bait. And I already don't like the way I'm writing this. I then sent him flying into the wall of the facility using my quirk. I was feeling hella dizzy at this point, must be from overusing my quirk. That whirlpool took a lot out of me. Right as I was starting to doubt myself, Todoroki came to help. Midoriya, are you okay? I nodded. I'm slightly dizzy but I can't give up now. Just as I said that, All Might came bursting through. I am here. I sighed in relief as All Might dealt with the villains. I thought that a nap sounded really good right about now. And with that, I was out. Time skip brought by Todoroki and his cold soba. I awoke to white lights and looked over to see Todoroki. I was slightly confused why he was here, but I looked down and saw that he was sleeping. I looked over and saw an IV in my arm. Must have overused my quirk again. I sighed as I woke up, causing Todoroki to stir. Oh hey, you're awake. You passed out during the attack, so I brought you to recovery girl, he told me. Things started to make more sense. Oh, is everyone okay? I questioned, concerned more about others than myself. Everyone is fine. The teacher suffered some injuries but they are being treated for it, so it's fine. I sighed in relief. I then heard on the door and told them to come in. It was. That's a wrap for today, everyone. If you enjoyed this fanfiction, be sure to show some love to the amazing author behind it. Your support means the world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting content to come.